Hi, welcome to Chat and Craft with Lorraine. My name is Lorraine Tierney, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Warner, New Hampshire. And I always say I like to make cards, I like to share cards, and I really like to help other people make cards. So thank you for joining me today and watching this video. I'm just jumping on today without any warning, so I don't expect that I'll have too many people watching. But if you do jump on, please say hi. Let me know you're watching the replay. It makes my day when I see that. And if you'd leave me a comment or like the video, that'd be awesome too. Then more people can see it. So we're going to play with some water today and do a little watercoloring. And I had some friends visiting this week and we did watercoloring with watercolor paints. Well, today I'm going to do some with watercolor inks. And I really like the look of watercoloring, even though it's way more random and way more abstract than I usually do. There's something about it that I like. So let's see if I can make a card that you might like too. I'm going to switch my cameras over and we'll get started. Okay. So let's see. Let me show you what I started out with. So I started out and I made a card. I wanted to do some heat embossing and then watercolor it. And I really wanted it to be more abstract and random. But what did I do? I just watercolored and filled in these flowers and the stems and leaves, and then I watercolored around it. So I didn't go random at all. So I'm going to try to do better on this next one. And I just realized I don't have the paper I need. You can do this on watercolor paper, but watercolor paper isn't very white and it has a texture to it, even though our Fluid 100 has very little texture to it. It does have a texture, which I think sometimes makes the embossing a little bit harder to stick on it. So I'm cutting a piece of the thick basic white to 4 by 5 1/4, and we're going to trim it down again afterwards. I really recommend the thick basic white, both for the white card bases and for anything that involves water, because it's a little bit more resistant to pilling and things. So we're going to do some heat embossing on this first. So I'm going to use my embossing buddy so that the embossing powder will hopefully just stick where I want it. And we're going to use the Natural Botanicals stamp set. This is from the January to April mini catalog. It's a new stamp set and I love it. It has reversible stamps in it. I don't know if I have a card handy where I did that. I think I've been sending them all out, but it's really cool what you can do in it. And there's some great examples in the catalog. We're going to use it the regular way today. And I have put let me put a piece of paper behind this. I've put 4 stamps on the same block from this set. Coated. And it'll be hard for you to see this, but I'm going right off the edge a little bit. I'm going to press it down firmly and pull that up. And I can see the outline of the Versamark a little bit. I'll show you after I get this one on there. And now I'm tipping my stamp kind of upside down and stamping it again. And I've pretty much filled that up with stamps. So we're going to use some white embossing powder this time. I'm going to put my coffee filter here. I find the tray a little bit too small, and piling or pouring back into my container kind of difficult. Basically, I think I make a mess with the embossing powder no matter how I do it, but that's okay. It's so worth it. So I'm just going to cover this with embossing powder. Let's see how I do. I missed a little over here. There we go. And I have a brush around here someplace. Here it is, that I can get some of that extra off. And I do have a little hole right there where there's not much stuff. So I'm going to ink up, I'll ink up the big leafy one again and just use that. Sorry, my camera, I'm making my camera move. Maybe that will be better. So sorry. I'm just going to do that right there and add, it's running away from me, a little bit more embossing powder. I didn't get a great image stamped right there. You'll see, hi Martha, that I'm missing a little bit of it, but I think it will be okay on this. And I'm sorry, I don't know why my camera jumps when I hold something up close to it. Boy, I'm really having trouble with this phone staying in the holder today. I think my phone cord is weighing it down a little bit. Let's see if that helps. I'll just turn that. Okay, so now we're going to melt this. I'll let my heat gun heat up a little and hold it with my tweezers so I don't burn my fingers. And you might be able to see this melt, which this is one of the finer pleasures in life, I think, watching embossing powder melt. Once the heat gun heats up, it melts pretty quickly. And it turns shiny, kind of gets glossy. So you can tell that it's melted. It also gets smooth when you let it cool off. If the embossing powder is melted, it will feel nice and smooth. But don't touch it immediately or you might smudge it. All right, I have just a little bit more to do. I know some of you out there don't do any embossing, and really, I think you should try it. It's just magical. It really is so much fun. Okay, so there we go. That is now melted, and you can see the white. So now we're going to do a little watercoloring. I'm going to use some water painters. These come 3 in a pack. There's a third one that has a really flat, wide brush. I didn't grab that one. These have water in them, and I have to warn you that they turn the opposite way that you think. So it's righty-loosey and left to tighten. And no matter how many times I use them, I pick them up and I do that wrong the first time. So we're going to use the same colors I played with earlier because I have them out on my block. Hi, Sharon. And it's just easier to keep going with the same colors. So this is Azure Afternoon. And then I have a little bit of shaded spruce. I have some Poppy Parade. I didn't want to go in that water and get that water on my stamp pad. And for some reason, even though I don't like to do this usually, I've got green in my lid. So we'll just keep doing that. Oh, I've made a mess. To get the green in your lid like that, you kind of squeeze the center of your ink pad and you can feel the bottom of the ink pad give a little bit, and then you get some ink in the cover. And then you want to add some water to it. It'll be really dark when you first mix it. Okay. So since I am, and don't want it to come out the other end, since I've got the green ready to go, I'm going to use that first. And I'm going to do one other thing because I really do want this random a little bit, is I'm going to spritz my paper. I'm doing it a little bit off camera because I don't want to get my whole spot that I'm working wet. So now there's a little bit of water on my paper, and you'll see that that kind of helps the watercolor to just go wherever it wants, kind of lightly. Okay. All right. So that's granny apple green. Did I call that lemon lime twist? It's really granny apple green. Now I'm going to do some Azure Afternoon, and I'm going to get some water. I'm squeezing water from my brush as well to make a puddle. And I guess I'll use my finger to hold that down. Now I'm going to do some Azure Afternoon in there. And again, I'm kind of going random. I'm not really coloring things in. And I'm letting the blue and the green, it's mixing a little bit and making blue-green, I guess you would call it. I'm making my blue a little bit darker now. And I want it nice and wet. Yeah, so it's watercolory and not too just painted. I think I'm not going to add the other colors to this one. I think I'm just going to do these colors. It's very pretty and soft. There is a little bit right there that doesn't have any color in it. Let's get a little green in there so you can go back and add and get a little shading. You can always add another layer of color, and you can hit it with your heat tool as well. And I'm going to flick some of this granny apple green. Well, maybe not. Try to get some, I'm not really getting, there we go. Get some water droplets. And some of them will blend in if the places they land are wet, and some of them won't. So I do keep a paper towel and a microfiber cloth handy because things do get wet and a little bit messy, both from the embossing and the watercolor. All right, so let me close this ink up. Like I said, I don't love having ink in the cover of my stamp set. So I'm just going to take my paper towel and kind of wipe that out. There we go. We'll close that up. Okay, I'm going to set those aside. I got to cover my embossing powder so I don't spill that or send it flying with my heat gun. Hi, Michelle. And I'm going to dry this just a little bit. Some from the back and then a little bit from the front. And it won't hurt that embossing to heat it up again. And I'm going to heat it from the back again to try to flatten it out a little bit. And I can see some water that came through right there, so I know that's pretty wet. Okay. So there is our background. It's dry now. I did pick up some, I think I picked up some embossing powder from the table. So it is dry and it is colored in. You can see those colors. I was thinking I would put it on a black background. I usually trim this again just in case the edges get too dark, but I might want it on an azure afternoon piece. That might be dark enough. So this was 4 by 5 1/4. So I'm going to cut it to 3 7/8 by 5 1/8, just so I can have a little border of a darker color. And I'll grab a piece of Azure Afternoon and we'll see which one we like best. So, do you like it on the Azure Afternoon, just with a little border, and then it's going to go on, whoops, something fell off, on a white card base, like that. You can't see the full border, but there it is. Or do you think black? Nope, I'm making the decision. I'm going with the Azure Afternoon. I think the black is just too dark. So since this is curling on me still, I'm going to use tear and tape because that's a nice strong adhesive. And I want this to lie flat. No bumps. I'm even going to put one in the middle. There we go. Okay. Hi, Bobby. Thank you. I'm glad you like it. I just decided to jump on this afternoon because I'm going to, yeah, you guessed it, to Vermont. It takes a village to make a nurse or to help a nurse go through school. Michelle has started doing clinicals at a hospital, so she has to leave very early in the morning to get there, and she gets home later in the evening. So think of me tomorrow. I'll be getting all three kids up and out for school, home from school. I'll have Josiah's help a little bit for dinner time, but he's working nights this week, so he's not around for bedtime or for getting ready for school. So wish me luck. Okay, now we're going to put this on with a little border. Okay, and then it's going to go on to the white. I think I want it to go that way. And I think it needs, we're going to put a sentiment on it, on a white circle. And I was thinking a bit of a black banner behind it, but I think I'm going to leave the black banner off. You're right, Michelle. I need my vitamins. But I also think we need a little bit of twine or something on there. I do have the colored twine, or oh, I don't know if I have any more white. I think I've used all my white from the multicolored packages. So it's gonna be the yellow or the blue. What do you think? I think I'm gonna go with the blue. Okay. Yeah, I like that blue. So I'm gonna wrap it around a couple of times. And then we'll tie a bow. Let's do that. Hi, Deb. Did I say hi, Michelle? Hi, Michelle. Hi, Sharon. I've lost track. Okay. So let's see about that. Okay, and I think I'm going to need some more tear and tape to put this down. And I think I'd like to make it a happy birthday card. And I did not pull a sentiment out. That was foolish. Which happy birthday should we use that will fit on a circle? I think the one from Tune In will work. The one from the TV set, we'll try that. You're right, Martha. I am going to take a nap while they're at school. I've already decided that would be a good thing to do. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, this is taking me a minute to get all that off. Some of my splatter went onto my card base, but that's okay. It will get covered up. Okay. So there we go with that. Have any of you done any kind of watercolor emboss resist? 'Cause I call it that because the embossing resists the paint. Have any of you done that before? I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love embossing. So anything that gives me the chance to do some embossing that will fit. So I'll use the Happy Birthday from the Tune In bundle. This is a really cute set. And I'm going to use, whoops, it's sticking to my table instead of the block. I'm going to use Azure Afternoon. And I don't have a piece of scrap paper here. I'll grab this one. Good, that's looking good. Okay. Happy birthday. And we'll get a few dimensionals. I have another one to show you. I'm not, well, and we'll have to finish putting it together. I'm not sure I like it as much as this one, but you'll have to tell me which one you like better, because you never know. We don't all go for the same things. And how about some bling? What should we put on there for some bling? How about some of the white sequins? These are from the Celebration free free little thing. Yeah, free gift with a purchase. In the US, it's with a $60 purchase. And I really like these. They have a nice little shine to them. I'll put a couple more on. They're so pretty. Go put one up here. And maybe one over there. There we go. So there is that card. All right, and then I'll show you another one that I have in process. It wasn't quite dry, so I hadn't finished it. I'm going to put the tear and tape on the back before I give you a good look at it, but I've lost the tear and tape here on my table someplace. You probably can see it and are shouting to me, it's right there, it's right there. Where's the tear and tape? Hello. Blue dots, dimensionals, lots of tear and tape release paper, water painters. Oh, come on. How do these things walk away on me? Well, I couldn't find it. Oh, I see it. It's under my card. I couldn't find it before we started, so I opened up a new package and then I found it. So here it is. So I'm going to do this and this. This one I did the heat embossing in black. And I think that's part of the reason. I think it's a very bold contrast. And it might be too bold for me. I'm not sure. But let's see. So put your sunglasses on because this is bright. Did I trim it already? Oh, I hadn't trimmed it. Well, what are we going to do? We're going to put just a partial border on this. Yep, I'm going to go like that. So I have a border on two sides and not on the other side. And then I have a card base here. Wow, I splattered far and wide because I even splattered on this card base. And I'll put this one. That's not going to fit.
Oh, for Pete's sake. All right, I'm gonna have to take this off. Is it gonna come off, guys? Nope. I'm gonna cut that off and we'll see what we'll do instead. Measure twice, cut once, right? I had not measured. That's what got me into trouble. Oh, and my cutter is a little wet. I just have to trim. This is real life crafting, right? When you have the opportunity to fix mistakes. So there you go. That's what that one looks like. I think it's a little bit too bright. Let's see if we can tone it down a little bit. I noticed I had an Azure Afternoon card base right there. I think that's a little bit better on that. And we can put some line on this one. I think I'll do black. Oh, I was going to do this behind the sentiment on this one. All right, let's try this again. Okay, and I've lost the tear and tape again. Oh, people, who's coming in and doing it? I'm keeping it real, Michelle. That's right. This is what happens. And you know me, I get an idea. I put a little forethought into the idea and then I just go with it and go live. So sometimes you have to punt. Okay, you can watch me take yet more tear and tape off. Oh, that one doesn't want to come off. Usually just take your pick tool under the edge and it comes right off. There we go. Got it. All right, let's get it on the card base in the right orientation. I'm doing it that way because I think I'll cover up this spot with a sentiment. Oh, I love that. The no judgment zone. Thank you so much, Michelle. Thank you, thank you. So I'm going to put that on there. And I have that here. So what do you think? Is that too bright and wild to send out, or is that okay? What color? I think I'll do the Azure Afternoon again for my sentiment. I do need some birthday cards, so let's just adhere this to the back, and then we'll pop the whole thing up on dimensionals. Oh, you guys think it's okay, huh? Well, that's great. Thank you. So it is fun. It gets your creative artist size out to play with those water painters. And I encourage you all to try it. And I think the idea that there's a no judgment zone is just perfect. Where did those embellishments go? Let's see what we can put on. This one, no. I think I'll just do some of these. what are these called? These are iridescent faceted gems. I am, whoops, not sure if these are still available, but as I have just a few left, I am going to use these up. There you go. So, yeah, sparkly. Guess what? I'm all over the place today. I'm not loving those on there. They're too big and bumpy. And even though they're big and bumpy, they kind of get lost. So maybe we'll just leave it like that. They do go with everything, Margaret. They are Michelle. They are really, really fun. So there's that last card. Not my favorite, but I do like it, and it was fun to make. I think this one is my favorite. I love the softer colors of the background with that. And I also love this one, but this one I really painted and didn't just go abstract and blotchy. But there's 3 examples for you with some watercolor fun. I hope you'll give it a try. Let me just switch this over. Thanks for joining me today. I appreciate it very much. And I'll be back I'll see a lot of you on Tuesday for the Zoom class. I will be home by then, you bet. And then I'm going to try to go live again probably on Thursday. All right. Have a great rest of your Sunday and enjoy your week. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.